Welcome back. We join Mike Eppel standing by. Mike, usually I have your notes in front of me. I close the window. That's what happens. There it is. Mike Eppel, Business Topics, June 16th. Good morning to you.
Magic. How are you? I'm good, thank you.
I knew I had them in the within the cobwebs somewhere. It was there somewhere. I want to start with the Trudeau government.
Yes.
The extension of the CERB benefits. This is good news for a lot of people, but there's still a lot of question marks with it.
Well, the CERB, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, pays $2,000 a month. It was put in place with the pandemic shutdown, and it's set to expire next month. And this has come to a head now because the NDP say they won't support any new government spending initiatives unless the CERB is extended. They're calling for a 4-month extension, which would be in the billions of dollars in new spending. The Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, saying yesterday, yeah, they're looking at an extension. He's not saying exactly by how long, but it looks like they're going to find some sort of middle ground here to extend it at least a little while. This comes into play, though, from a political standpoint, Melanie, because if the opposition parties don't support a spending bill, well, then you could have the fall of the government. It's a minority government situation, and then you'd have an election in the middle of all of this. So, you know, there's a lot of pressure on both sides to sort of avoid that in the near term, get an extension done. Again, it's going to add to the deficit spending. That is the financial bottom line here, but it looks as though something will be announced likely tomorrow to get that going for at least another month, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
An election, that's just what we need in the middle of all of this,
That's just the point of this, and they probably don't want to. Although, you know what? Never say never, considering where are the polling numbers right now. Politics always in play in one way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the Ford plant in Oakville. As you say here, could be in jeopardy.
Well, this is something that's been talked about for a little while here about the fact that Ford doesn't have as much production coming out of the Oakville plant as it once did. Still employs just over 4,000 people. A Lincoln model comes out of there, and the Ford Edge, which is a crossover utility vehicle. It's a good seller, but it's going to need an upgrade by 2023. And this report from Auto Forecast Solutions out of Pennsylvania says without a new vehicle put in there, that raises question about the long-term prospects for Ford Oakville. Now, it's also going to come with upcoming contract negotiations. The CAW, or Unifor in this case, up for renewal on its contract later this year, I believe. So that's all going to play into the mix here. Ford says, you know, there's no plans to not build the Edge, but they're kind of, again, this has been something that's been in various trade publications about Ford Oakville, and it's going to be interesting to see how this shapes up, of course, with everything that's gone on in GM Oshawa. Ford Oakville might be the next question mark in the Canadian auto production segment.
Mike, we had a big discussion on BT Canada yesterday about if you're ready to travel, and if you are, where you're going to go. Here's the first step to looking toward that. WestJet now starting to add some more destinations here.
Yeah, 45 additional routes as of next month. 39 here in Canada, 5 to the U.S., 1 to Mexico. And now, does that presuppose an opening of the border by WestJet if you're adding U.S. flights, or is it just for essential travel, business travel, or what have you? And how does it work, again, with quarantine measures coming the other way? Delta Airlines, you know, they're adding flights to China from the U.S., again, starting to slowly reopen here the global economy. Travel company TUI says that they're seeing lots of bookings for the fall, and a lot of this stuff is cancelable. That's the new wrinkle in all of this, Melanie. That they're, you know, the travel industry specifically saying they want people to book and have that reassurance that if in fact there's a second wave or something like that, you can cancel, because that was a big problem. People getting their money from previously booked flights with the pandemic shutdown.
Absolutely.
People still upset about that.
I know I definitely don't want to book unless I know this, that, and the other thing can get waived if there needs to be a change, right?
That's the big issue right now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, I want to get a final check on those numbers, or a beginning look at the numbers, I should say.
Oh, big rally this morning. Huge. 500 points up on the Dow. Yesterday, the Dow was down 750 points early. By the end of the day, it was up by more than 150 points because the U.S. Federal Reserve is buying corporate debt for the first time ever. Again, just throwing money around, $250 billion or thereabouts. And this morning, they're talking about $1 trillion, $1 trillion in infrastructure spending on the U.S. economy That's being bandied about in Washington. So that would bring the grand total, I believe, to around $7 trillion in either government or U.S. central bank spending since the crisis started. And you wonder why the markets are up.
Oh, geez, Mike. All right. Always something fun to talk with you about. We can never run out of discussion, but we'll try it all over again tomorrow.
All right.
Thank you.